kiddies. It's your old pal, John Bashir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Video Store Clerks Podcast.
Welcome to the store.
You see the size of that chicken?
That was good.
We are muted.
We're muted. Sorry.
How you doing?
Take two. Howdy, Internet, and welcome once again to the Video Store Clerks Podcast. We are your video store clerks for the evening. I am Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh.
Chad Bez. All right.
I'm Chuck Nasty.
And once again, we welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, this is the Video Store Clerks Podcast. And in case you haven't noticed, tonight is Young Guns Night. We will be talking about the 80s classic Young Guns, 1990 classic Young Guns 2, and the possibility of maybe, a Young Guns 3 that might be on the horizon. We'll be discussing all that and more. Also the news, also our random clip of the week, and as usual, our offbeat shenanigans. How is everyone tonight? I'm hyped.
Good. I'm in the spirit world.
All right.
You're in the spirit
Me too.
world?
I'm in the spirit world.
Me
Damn
too.
coyote.
Me too.
But we will start the program as we always do with the news.
Well, if that's the woman, you tell her to shut up.
They'd like to close now.
We don't have the clothes yet. I haven't written the clothes yet, Mother.
I really do love those clips, those news clips. That's great. I love those. I'm glad we do those.
And there's no shortage of them either. That's the great thing.
True.
Well, first, box office. Barbie number 1, Oppenheimer number 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 3, and oh my gosh, Barbie is on track to be the highest grossing film of 2023. It is so far raked in domestically, by the way, $531 million.
Not shocked. I knew exactly what was going to happen when Barbie came out. Knew it.
It's
Goddamn, partner.
damn, partner. That's a lot of money. Oppenheimer so far has brought in $266 million, and Ninja Turtles $74 million. So there's a big gap between the top three. Also coming in, number 4 was Meg 2, 5 Haunted Mansion, 6 The Last Voyage of the Dementor, brought in $7 million.
What?
Sound of Freedom is still hanging in there, $173 million. Mission Impossible, man, dropped to number 8.
They
160
stop making
million.
those.
It's just crazy. I really thought the Top Gun Maverick would have carried over a little bit. I thought it would have did a lot better than what it did, but it is what it is. Elemental,
Right.
number 9. And can you guess what number 10 is? Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
Its domestic total is $172 million. Ouch.
Did you say Talk to Me was on there?
Who?
The film Talk to Me?
Talk to Me was way down there. Way down there.
Sarah, that's probably like the best horror movie that came out this year so far, supposedly.
That's what I heard.
Oh, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've been hearing good things, so I'm curious.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, the likes of Peter Jackson, Stephen King, and many more have given the film high praise, but it is at number 22 at the box office with $31 million. So,
This would surprise me though. There's so many other movies that had so much hype like above it.
I heard a lot of good shit about it though.
Yeah, I like to see it.
Yeah, I do too.
Also, as predicted on the Video Store Clerks podcast not too long ago, the 75th annual Emmy Awards have in fact been pushed back to January of 2024. As of now, quite frankly, I would expect that to change. I don't think that's
what's going on? There's something going on. Like I don't know what's happening.
Not a lot. The strike is holding everything up because, of course, no actors are going to show up for the Emmys because they're all striking.
Yeah.
And I would expect this to probably go on to at least the end of the year, most likely. I just don't see the streaming services are not going to give up that money. They're just not.
I've heard they resumed negotiations, so we will see.
Yeah, they finally, after all this time, they've decided to maybe talk. That's about it as far as we've got.
It's like the boys' court.
Pretty sad. Scream 7 will not be directed by what was the company called? Radio Silence, which did the last two Scream movies. Scream 7 will now be helmed by Christopher Landon. If you're not familiar with that name, he is the one responsible for the Happy Death Day series.
Oh, I like those movies.
So a good pick, I believe. Also, check this out. I actually have a picture of this. The Toxic Avenger remake.
Oh, I forgot that was a fucking thing.
We just recently got our first look, if you want to call it that, of Peter Dinklage as the Toxic Avenger.
Oh, God.
And that's what we got.
Wow.
So is his mop radioactive?
It looks like it.
That's what it looks like. So.
That or something came from Krypton. I don't know.
You know, I gotta say, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it.
I'll see it.
I'll watch it.
I think it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be weird, but like any of these other remakes or reboots, all that shit, like retellings, whatever which way you want to say about it. There's always something a little different. Not all of them are bad. This is kind of interesting. He's a good actor. I've been rewatching Nip Tuck, and and I really love that show. But he actually came into the last season I was on, and I was like, man, he's a really good actor. There's more stuff, and I totally forgot that he was. Yeah, Julia has a whole affair with him. Sorry.
Yeah, been a long time since I used to watch that show, but it's been
such a good show. I never watched all of it, and I'm kind of invested now.
I've never seen it.
It's pretty cool.
It gets progressively crazy. Yeah, it gets crazier and crazier every season.
Yeah, it's
but
great.
It's worth a watch for sure.
Rich people getting owned. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Because of their own stupidity.
What was the first line in every show? Tell me what you don't like about yourself. That's what it was. That was the first line in every
I've been saying that to myself in the mirror for fucking years. So,
yeah. Tell me what you like. Don't tell me what you don't like about yourself. Howdy, internet. Well, yeah, news is slow, mainly due to the strike. So, not a whole lot going on. Everything's delayed. Aquaman 2 is in shambles. The best, just shelve the motherfucker. Just don't.
No shit. Let it go.
Right up there. Because
Else of that shit. Let it go. Let it go.
If the Flash couldn't bring it back, man, Aquaman ain't gonna do it. I think the Flash brought in domestically, I think it was like $107 million or something.
It was bad.
It was bad. So I liked it. I liked the movie, but goddamn, nobody went to go see it. So
granted, once we watch it again, we might not like it. But
the Blue Beetle comes out either this weekend or the next weekend, I believe.
Who cares?
I don't think it's going to do.
Why? Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. This is one thing I've been trying to figure out. Out of all the fucking movies, out of all the fucking comic books in the goddamn world, that they could completely like make a movie of that. They go with Blue Beetle. It was bad enough when they had the fucking Ant-Man bullshit, right? Like, who cares? Nobody cares.
Yeah, the CGI was bad. It
fucking shit.
It was. I mean, it's.
Oh, when you get the fucking babies flying in microwaves and shit like that.
Babies and microwaves.
All I was saying is like nobody cares. Did you all give a fuck about? Oh, I've got the whole collection of Blue Beetle. No, I got like 5 issues of Blue Beetle, and you know where I got them? Fucking flea markets and shit for 50 cents. Or they were given to me by people. Nobody cares. Why? Nobody cares. The only reason I give a fuck about the only reason anybody give a fuck about the Ant-Man bullshit was because of fucking Paul Rudd. Other than that, nobody gives a fuck.
Jovan loves some motherfucking Blue Beetle.
Hey, no. Look, I'm not down in Blue Beetle. I'm just saying nobody gives a fuck. So I mean, great. It's wonderful. I like bugs and superheroes. It was really great when it was called Spider-Man. I don't give a fuck about Blue Beetle. No one else does either. That's cool that you do. I'm a hater. Whatever. Fuck me. But I don't care.
There you have
Where's the fucking Spawn movie, goddammit? Where's that shit at? Todd McFarlane? You've been saying it for the past 500, 600, 700 years now? Okay. Ran over.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, it's just.
I haven't had one of those in a while. I like it.
If you're going to reboot it, then reboot it. Don't bring out the Flash. Don't bring out another Aquaman. And I don't think these rumors of Gal Gadot doing a Wonder Woman 3 is going to happen. I think that's all bullshit. Like I said, if you're going to reboot it, then just reboot it.
You know what they need to reboot? They need to reboot Shadow.
Oh!
They need to reboot the Shadow because there's a whole story there that nobody gave a fuck about. And then they need to do that. And Green. Oh, yeah, I like that one too. And I think Green Hornet, they need to do something better with that shit. Instead of having, I'm the Green Hornet. Fuck you, Seth. What is it? Rogan? Fuck that guy.
That was
fuck Seth Green too. Fuck them all.
Jesus.
Well, he said he was a hater. What do you want? He's working the gimmick.
Reboot Blank Man.
That's what I'm talking about.
That'd be sweet. Maybe some Meteor Man.
Yeah, where's our Duck Man? Where's our Duck Man like movie, huh? I've been waiting for that since I was a fucking kid. Where's that shit? Nope. Don't get my way at all. Remember Duck Man?
Hell
Fuck Howard the Duck.
Howard.
He was in the new Guardians.
Because I think Leah Thompson was probably my first crush.
Oh yeah, Back to the Future. Yeah, she was a cutie.
We need a movie of Ketchup. Why not?
Ketchup Man.
Never heard of Ketchup Man.
Who would the villain be in Ketchup Man? Tartar Sauce Man?
Mayonnaise.
I don't know. Yeah, it'll probably be mayonnaise.
Mayo Man. That sounds dirty.
You guys want to feel old real quick though?
Sure.
So Sunday was the 20th anniversary of Freddy versus Jason.
20 years?
Right?
Ketchup Man is a villain in DC?
Really?
No, he's not. Are you bullshitting? Oh, I'm gonna Google that later.
Yeah, it's interesting. I gotta find out who the fuck Ketchup Man is. I've never heard of the dude.
I've heard of ketchup and mustard, and that's what they called those dudes from Mortal Kombat 3.
Condiments.
But yeah, I mean, of course, condiments.
Nope, swears he's not. All right.
Learn something new every day, fellas.
Right.
Yeah,
DC showed that they have no creativity by calling something Ketchup Man.
I guess.
Well, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for the info.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mustard Woman would be his love interest.
Condiment Man.
This is what I love about people that watch our shit.
Wait, I think we have.
Condiment King.
I think we have
Condiment King.
I think we have some candid photos of Ketchup Man. he looks very villainous.
What has happened to this show?
It's like, fuck you, tomatoes.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Oh,
Hey, thanks for the info, because I had
Right?
Yeah,
I gotta look this shit up.
We like learning things on this show.
yeah.
We like participation.
And I definitely learned something tonight.
We're all gonna check it out, and it's like the greatest thing to us.
We really are.
Oh, but let's go on to our main course.
Condiment King. I think that's who he was talking about.
Yeah.
Condiment.
Yeah.
Condiment King.
Yeah.
All relaxed internet. It's a cap gun.
Bang, bang.
No unaliving here, fellas.
And we've all had the peyote tonight, so we might be a little goofy.
We're in the
Maybe.
spirit world, you asshole that can't see us.
Might get a little sidetracked with the butterflies and such. But let's talk about these classic Western movies. When I was a kid, I was never big on Westerns except for these two movies. They were like
Same.
the cool Westerns. I mean, look.
And
I
Tombstone.
mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say what about Tombstone, motherfucker.
Tombstone. I wasn't into any other Western movies as a kid except for these two. And right there on the on our background there, look at that fucking cast.
I know.
Unbelievable. I mean, this was the cool Western. I mean, when I was a kid, I went to go see Young Guns 2 at the theaters.
Nice.
There you
Look
have
at
it.
that.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
What an ensemble.
Yeah. It's a real group of pals there.
And
Well, I mean-
you know,
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, even still, these are legendary actors, but 30 years ago, these actors were red hot at the box office. I mean, coming off such films as the Lost Boys, you know, Emilio, did so many films. The Brat Pack. Oh. Two Guns and a Coward is a must watch.
I wonder how old's that movie?
I'll admit I'm an ignoramus as far as to how much of this is a true story. I don't know a whole lot about the history. I just enjoyed the movies, including the second one. I was always a big fan of the second one. The second one got a lot of mixed feelings towards the second one with a lot of people. I was surprised to find out a lot of people didn't like the second one.
Yeah. Everybody thought I was like crazy when I was younger. It's like percent I like the second one a lot. I always thought it was a cool idea.
But yeah, go ahead, guys. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. We can do a synopsis real quick for those not familiar, if y'all don't mind.
For those lamos that never saw Young Guns and Young Guns 2, Jesus.
Hey, lamos.
Hey.
What was it? 88, I believe this movie came out.
It's true.
They've had time to watch it.
True story.
Synopsis for the original Young Guns. The year is 1878, Lincoln County. John, hold on. I got to take my sunglasses off. A British ranch owner hires 6 rebellious boys as regulators to protect his ranch against the ruthless Santa Fe Ring. When Tutsaw is killed in an ambush, sorry if I butchered that name, the regulators, led by the wild-tempered Billy the Kid, played by Emilio Estevez, declare war on the ring. As their vendetta turns into a bloody rampage, they are branded outlaws, becoming the objects of the largest manhunt in Western history. There you go.
This was a movie that when I was younger, the first time I heard about it was when my mom had some friends that we always went over to their house a lot. And me always being the big movie kid that I was, would go through and see what movies were rated R. And I was actually thinking the same thing. It is actually kind of freaking me out just a little bit. Dave's got to be next to him. But it was one movie because, like, as a kid, like, okay, rated R, I got to watch it. But, like, because I saw Kiefer in a few things at that point, Charlie Sheen in a couple of things. But when I finally, like, actually snuck and got to watch it one time, man, I fell in love with this fucking movie. Because I was like you, like Dave, like I was never really a big Western guy. The only ones I really watched that were Westerns were like Clint Eastwood movies for the most part. I'm another John Wayne guy. You know, I've always been really picky. And Young Guns is one that it's younger dudes being badass. And when you're a kid, it's like you would have beat these dudes. Like completely. And actually I became a fan of Emilio Estevez because of this movie. That's like, it's the only reason why like the Mighty Ducks movies, like the first couple of them, like I made sure I watched them when I was a kid, you know. So I'm like, oh, it's Billy the Kid. And plus it also was cool because as a kid, which I've always been big into history, but when I was a kid I was big into like history of like cowboy days and, you know, shootouts and stuff and wars and all that kind of shit. And presidents, I was big into presidents. Big shocker, my favorite ones were the ones that were killed. It spoke to me because I knew who Billy the Kid was, you know, Billy the Kid and Jesse James and all that shit as a kid. This movie is just like perfect for anybody that just kind of likes that kind of shit. Action packed, it's not boring at all. Sorry, I feel like I talked forever just now.
No, go ahead.
It's one of my favorite movies. So
a lot of action. I think it appealed to us as a younger audience because it wasn't like the stuff that like our parents grew up with. It wasn't the Clint Eastwood stuff that you saw on TV, John Wayne shit. It was different. It was a younger group of guys. It had like rock music. It just had a different feel to it than the old westerns and everything like that. So I think it appealed to us as a younger audience in that regard. Also, you know, just, you know, being that age and, you know, the characters in the film are pretty young. I think they're like supposed to be around 18 or 19 years old.
Like 19, 20, something like that.
Yeah, very young in real life as well. So, you know, it's just those type of characters just wilding out and doing crazy shit. And it's like, you know, when we were growing up, we kind of felt that way as well.
Yeah, and again with the cast, it was all guys we knew as a younger audience.
Yeah,
you
had Emilio came off of Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire. Yeah, Sheen just did what he did Wall Street and Platoon. Kiefer did Lost Boys and I can't remember.
I don't know.
Lou Donna Phillips just did La Bamba.
He did La Bamba and Stand and Deliver. So, you know, very young actors, and you know, they're hitting their prime. You know, at this point, you know, they're hitting their stride, becoming big names. So
I guess Kiefer was only what? I mean, they say that Kiefer was like 21 or something like that whenever he was filming this.
Yeah, he's 21.
Yeah. And I don't even think he did Flatliners yet.
No.
Yeah, I think that was a little. I think that was a little while after.
Yeah, I think the only the big ones he had done was Stand By Me and
Stand By Me. Yeah.
Lost Boys. So, so this was kind of a culmination of all the right cast members coming together at the right moment, and it had that camaraderie from the get go. You know, you can tell not just as the characters, but as, you know, real life people. The actors were very close and just hung out, so you saw that chemistry.
I'm also a sucker for.
Good.
Go on.
Good.
Yeah, it was definitely a super group.
Oh yeah, like I'm a sucker for a revenge film, and this one is just when you want action in like, okay, if you want to watch a Western that has a lot of action, this one just there's so many great scenes in it. Completely. And I don't know, it hits all the right spots. And even if you're not a big fan, like, of Cowboys and Indians, you know, that whole thing, man, yeah. That's all I was going to say. It's just like, it's a good revenge movie. It really is. Old school, like, you fucked over my people, and I'm going to fucking kick your ass. Just, I don't know.
And
I don't want to jump the gun. Because that end scene is fucking amazing.
And they murdered the father figure right in front of them. They murdered their friends. Yes, it's
before Zod.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yes,
old Terrence Stamp. Fucking
great actor.
And Jack Palance as well. I mean, what a fucking cast! What a
Jack Palance playing an asshole like he's so good at playing.
Yeah, he's such a good villain. He really is.
And that's too. I was gonna say real quick. Like I was reading some shit though, and it said like the real John Tunstall was only like I think 24 or some shit like that, and Doc was the oldest one out of all of them.
Yeah.
Like I think he was 27 or something like that, 31 somewhere in there.
All the historians say that the Young Guns film follows the history pretty accurately for the most part.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot of spots here and there where they take liberties in Hollywood, but for the most part, it's historically accurate. For the most part.
And that's hard to do. It's hard to follow the history to a point, plus include all that action, and plus keep it flowing like that, make it entertaining. It's a really well done movie. Like I said, it's even as a non-Western fan as a kid, they've been growing on me as I got older. I'll admit.
Same.
But yeah, these two films were always my favorites. Always.
Well, that's the problem, with Hollywood, they got to exaggerate everything. So it's like, this story isn't good enough. We got to beef it up. We got to fucking throw in all kinds of crazy shit to make it more interesting. But, for the most part, the story is pretty wild in itself. Real life, the art imitating life, it is pretty similar for the most part. And so, I mean, I don't know.
See, by the time that I finally watched this, because I was the kid in school that wanted to like talk about all the gruesome shit. I know, big shocker. And so like I said, I knew who Billy the Kid was and all that shit. And I knew who had said, was said to have killed him. But Pat Garrett,
yes,
right?
Pat Garrett.
And when I saw this, I already know that shit. And when because he does come in at a certain point and like are you my friend? Yes, I am. Yeah, like I was actually like the little nerdy kid that I was into history and shit. When he was in, I was like, oh shit, oh okay. Like my friends were just kind of like, why do you get so excited with this stupid shit? And I'm like, it's just a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
It's like when you read a book. It's like when
you put your right foot in.
It's like when you read a book and then you see a movie that comes out based on it. And you're like, oh shit, this character's coming, or this is gonna happen, or this is when this, it's that same kind of like some kind of feeling,
I lost my train of thought, but where I was going with that was, kind of like how Hollywood embellishes in film. We see that in this film with how the newspaper kind of embellishes the stories of Billy. I always thought it was funny. Like they'll cut to different scenes and Doc will be reading the newspaper. I'm like, where do they fucking get these newspapers from? They're out in the middle of the fucking desert,
right?
Where are they picking these up? At the fucking 7-Eleven? But yeah, you would see, like, I think in the first one there was a picture of Dick Brewer, Charlie Sheen's character, and
you paused up for a minute.
What happened?
You're good now, though.
Yeah,
you're good. Keep going.
Okay. So yeah, they have the newspaper has the picture of Dick Brewer, Charlie Sheen's character, and they're claiming that's Billy the Kid, and he's the leader of the gang and all this stuff, and he's shot so many people, and it's all embellished because even back then, newspaper they were trying to sell newspapers, so this story of Billy the Kid kind of became a thing of its own. A lot of the historians say all this stuff that came out in the newspapers didn't really come out until after all this stuff all that stuff doesn't really happen until later. You know, he wasn't even named Billy the Kid until the newspaper. I think it was the Las Vegas Gazette, which there was Las Vegas, New Mexico. It wasn't Las Vegas, Nevada. But there was a editor, a writer, somebody there that had written an article about him. And anybody had called him Billy the Kid. They had called him the Kid before, and he had all kinds of different nicknames. He had aliases and stuff like that. You know, obviously, his real name was Henry Bacardi, and then he changed it. I think he had his mom married another guy, and his stepfather was named Antrim. So he was Henry Antrim. They called him Kid Antrim. And then eventually he took over the name William H. Bonney. I don't even know where that came from. It was one of those things, you know, he wasn't like a big outlaw, but he was outed. And, you know, he was always getting into trouble and getting arrested. So I think like he would just move from town to town and kind of change his name just to kind of stay under the radar, because he would get arrested and escape and stuff like that. You see it in the films where he's constantly escaping by like the skin of his teeth. There's always something he escapes. So
yeah.
Hello.
No, it's funny too, because isn't this the first film that Emilio and Charlie worked on? Because I think they did Men at Work in 89 or 90.
Yeah. They had done another thing, just like a small bit. This was the first time that they really got to work on screen together.
They used to say like I guess like Emilio just got out of a bad relationship or something shit like that, so he was always fucking down. So then Lou Diamond Phillips would play pranks on him and shit. Like the one time they got a fucking sheep and put it like a makeup on it in like a dress and shit and put it in his dressing room. And then they go out drinking and shit at night, and they'd always make Lou Diamond Phillips sing La Bamba.
Oh man, I wish I could have been there.
I heard it was the other way around, that Emilio was the prankster on set and was always doing shit. Like one of the first week or two, I think Lou Diamond Phillips had told this story about how they had all received like FedEx packages that came from
that too.
Yeah, they came from the studio. So and it had like a note attached saying, "Oh, hey guys, you know, thank you for being a part of this film. This is just for us to show our appreciation, what we think of you." And they opened it up, and it was full of like cow shit. Each of the FedEx packages, and it was Emilio who was pranking them, you know. So, yeah, a lot of fun on that set.
Yeah, I mean that's how you could tell they had such good chemistry together, because I mean, like all their lines just come out perfect. You can just a bunch of pals hanging out, fucking making movies and shit.
I wonder if there was a video recorder going at those after hours hangouts, because I mean, because you got Kiefer Sutherland, Emilio Estevez, and Charlie Sheen. First off,
God.
And they were younger, partying. I don't know how they even got this movie made, got finished with that cast, but yeah, they really do flow very well together in this movie too. You kind of like believe all of them to be these characters,
right?
Mm-hmm. You know?
Well, Lou Diamond Phillips said he was glad they didn't have cell phones back when they were filming this movie.
I'm sure.
Well, all the 80s, you know,
right?
Would have been so much shit if there was a TMZ or smartphone back then.
Game over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Charlie Sheen's still doing shit, right?
Yeah. You know. Well, sort of.
Winning
somehow. It's that tiger's blood, buddy.
Yeah, you can only drink so much tiger's blood until.
Yeah. There's a really bad joke that I'm not going to make when it comes to blood and Charlie Sheen. But anyway, go on.
Tell us later.
Yeah, I will.
That'll be Video Store Clerks After Dark.
Yeah. You'll never see it.
The B-side.
Yeah, right. The unreleased, never released.
And
no evidence.
Not to jump ahead too much, but just while I'm thinking about it, I do like the Pat Garrett from the second one better. I like that whole thing a lot.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite characters in that. I like the heel turn. I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he proved that he was really pals with Billy.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't just talking shit.
I think that's something we definitely have to touch on here is the amazing scenes in this fucking movie. I mean, this is one of those that you can seriously go through just like so many memorable moments. I mean, the whole like peyote thing, obviously. Chad's obviously very familiar with it. You creepy man right now. I keep getting lost. Like I'm just like, it's like Dan Aykroyd in Ghostbusters 2 of the fucking painting. I'm like, but you know, like the scene where Billy the Kid, like you really get to see like how big of a pompous ass he is. You know, when the guys there talking about, oh, I'm gonna kill Billy the Kid, and he goes into the bar or whatever. He starts fucking with them, and they're all just kind of just by this point they just know how he is. So the rest of the guys are just kind of like they get their guns out. They're like, Billy's getting ready to cause some more bullshit for us. Yeah, that whole scene's fucking that cracks me up. It's like, well, there he is. It's like, well, why don't you give me back that gun now? That scene's great. But the scene that really rewatching it today after not watching it for years, the scene where he gets the turncoat. The spy for Murphy.
Oh yeah.
That whole scene, I just love it because I mean, it's that moment where they all kind of go, yeah, because Billy the Kid's like, well, shit, I'm sorry that I didn't fucking see you, you know, and shot him. And that is a great gunshot, by the way. There's a lot of good gunshots on it. But as soon as he kills that guy, then Doc. You know, he's like, no, you're not going to get away. And like they all start, you know, you kind of see them go, you know, this is the attitude we need to have. We need to just fucking say, fucking kill these motherfuckers. And that's like that one moment. I don't know. It just there's something about that movie when like you already knew that guy was sketchy. Mm-hmm. And then when he calls him out, and you're just like, oh, he's not just going to put his gun away. He's going to shoot him in the face. And as a kid, I was like hoping for it because there was something about that guy. I was like, I don't like him.
Yeah, as soon as he showed up, because it was right after Tunstall and Murphy met up.
Had their words, yeah.
Yeah, they had their words, and then like shortly after that, he showed up and said, you know, he got fired by Murphy or whatever, and wanted to, you know, be a part of Tunstall's group, the regulators. And so he brought him in and took care of him. It's kind of weird how, you know, in this film, they don't really address any time or place or anything. You can base it off of history and fact and everything like that. But in the film, it's not like here, 1878, New Mexico. They don't really spell it out for you. And the time jumps are kind of blatant almost to where, you know, they'll be at one place and then like at that scene you were talking about, you know, Charlie Sheen's character starts telling him, he's like, no, he's good. You know, he's been riding with us. He's one of us. And he says that he's been riding with them for a while. And it's like, wait, didn't he just come into the picture like not too long ago? So
right, yeah.
It jumps around in the film, the time. It kind of throws you off, you know, especially later on whenever they're in the house. But it's stuff like that. But yeah, I love that scene, you know, like you said, he just, you know, it's a cool moment. And then whenever he finally shoots him and that blood spatters all over Kiefer's face, you know, you're like, oh shit, you know, and like you said, they realized that it was time, you know, he's like, oh, that means we just killed 2 more Murphy men, you know? And so it's like, okay, we're in the shit, boys. Let's get this stuff done.
Yeah. Right. And when he has that blood on his face, you can see that movement in his eyes. Like, wow, we're doing this. Yeah. We're doing this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to comment on, because Kiefer Sutherland's acting. I mean, he's one of. I think we all love Kiefer Sutherland, rightfully so. I mean, he's one of the badasses for the '80s. But that you really see that the character of Doc, like you said, like you made the comment about how, all right, well, this is how this is going to go, and where he has that moment where he's kind of looking back and he looks down at the dude in the water, and it's almost like he's looking at him just being like, man, there's going to be a lot more of those, and there's going to be a few of us that aren't going to get away either. Yeah. And, you know,
this is how this is going to end. This is how this is going to end is probably what he's thinking to himself right there.
Well, so even whenever Dick gets killed, and they speed off one of their horses, he stops and turns around and just like looks at Dick, and he's just like, that didn't sound right, but then he's just like, yeah, this fucking... we're going to die at some point.
You know, and one thing I got to say, though, rewatching this movie, there is one scene in this movie that I swear, ever since I was a kid, just always just broke my heart, and it's when John dies. It's when they kill Tunstall. And
he gets straight fucking murdered.
Well, because like I remember as a kid, something told me something was getting ready to happen, and like even now, like I was like sitting there earlier, like on my couch watching my TV, and like I knew it was getting ready to happen, you know, but there's just that moment where you're just like, oh, that's like uber fucking heartbreaking, and you almost like you really have that moment where you're just like, fucking kick their fucking asses, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a movie that it just, I don't know, it's still a works well to watch these days.
I mean, Terrence Stamp does a good job of conveying it. It's like, you know, Billy's right there next to him, and all the boys are down there riding around and everything like that. He even says, you know, it almost, you can
boys will be boys.
Yeah, boys will be boys. You know, go ahead, Billy. And you know, you can sense that something is coming. You know, it has that ominous presence, and the way Terrence Stamp delivers that line, and then it's like Billy goes off, and then all of a sudden Murphy's men show up, and
he knows. He looks by. He glances and he sees, but he just kind of looks down. He's just like, I think he already knew it was coming. He already knew it was coming. And I also wonder, and this, because even as a kid, I wondered if he knew that old dude was a turncoat. Like,
nah, probably not.
Like, and he was just, I don't know, because like that just almost seems too obvious. Like that whole time period with everything going on, and then here comes this guy that got fired. Yeah, okay.
I think the thing that tipped me off to it was whenever he says, you know, didn't you used to work for Murphy or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, he fired me. I called him. What did he say?
A big fat sow.
Big fat sow. Yeah. And I was like, I'm pretty sure if anybody called Murphy a big fat sow, he'd probably fucking
kill him,
put him down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I was kind of like, that doesn't make sense, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of the tip, you know, and Billy picked up on that.
Something else that I noticed, because where this movie does focus on the fact of how young they are, like even from when they get deputized, they're just boys.
Right.
The scene where Charlie goes into the whorehouse, and you know, and he's just kind of like, I just want to hold you. And it's like she like the prostitute almost even like realizes like he's scared, like he's lonely, he's scared, you know, like I don't know. It's kind of, and there's a lot of things you don't pick up on until you're older.
Right.
Movies.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious whenever I watched that back, and I was thinking about it. I don't think this was ever brought up or anything like that, but I was like maybe that's Charlie's mom, and they just never explain it, you know, because it's like they said that he remembers her, and obviously he didn't screw her before, so maybe he remembers her as his mom, but she don't remember him because now he's grown up, and he just wanted to be held because he knew like something terrible was going to happen. I don't know. That's just a theory of mine, but
that's fucking deep, Mike. But you know what? Though it makes sense though. See,
it's that peyote.
I mean, why else? Why else?
Size of that chicken.
Dude, we were coming back from Pittsburgh, and I saw those big giant fucking chicken things on the side of the road, and I stopped and filmed that thing we saw earlier. And me and Chad were cracking up whenever I put it in slow motion. Like,
that was great.
See the size of that chicken, and I kept slowing it down more and more, and we were just laughing our asses off the whole way back.
And the thing is, that scene, dude. Anytime that because I've had many conversations with people about movies and whatever. Fucking Young Guns has come out multiple times. Anytime that you mention Young Guns, that scene comes up immediately. Because somebody will always like the true fans will always come up and ouch.
Taking shots.
But somebody always goes, "Do you see the size of that chicken?" Like, and that's when you know the fans. Those are the people that just like us that grew up with this fucking movie and love it just because they just, I don't know, it's memorable.
Dirty Steve, Dermot Mulroney. We haven't really talked about
him. Yeah, okay, and that's the crazy thing because I didn't realize for a long time.
None taken.
I did not realize for the longest time who he was.
No.
And then I remember somebody, a girlfriend or somebody years ago was watching a fucking rom-com or whatever. And I was like, that looks like that one guy from Young Guns. And then I later realized it was that guy from Young Guns. And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, he was as a kid, he was always one of my favorite characters. I think he was just a badass. He didn't give a fuck, you know, like, he's kind of gross. I don't know why I liked him.
He's Dirty Steve.
Dirty Steve and Chuck Nasty. I'm just saying, there could have been some.
It's a crossover.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I did almost get a thing of dip for tonight, but I have not dipped in years. And although it was real tempting to get some Red Man Golden blend, but yeah, that shit tastes like fucking raisins. It's actually pretty tasty, but I don't recommend it. Don't do it. Don't do this shit either.
Yeah, he hadn't really done a whole lot before that. Like, this was his first breakout role, kind of, you know, for Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah, and it was hilarious.
Garrett.
Yep.
Oh, Levi.
What about Levi Garrett?
Chewing tobacco.
Oh yeah.
I always loved that scene too. Like, me and my boy Josh back home would always fucking talk about that movie and that scene. Just because, I mean, you got Doc up there talking about Yin saying that he's the butterfly, he's the flower.
Yeah.
Then you got fucking Dirty Steve doing his fucking thing, screaming like a nut. Oh, he almost fucking shoots Doc in the one time. And
Yeah.
He's just jumping around with his shotgun.
Was it twice?
It doesn't even phase him.
Fucking Charlie's just hanging out and enjoying everything. He's having like the best time ever. Then he throws up and he's like, I feel so good.
Yeah. He's like, oh, this is really great. And like, well, because Dick he's got his gun pointed over at Charlie, but he's just like, it's like I almost felt like he's almost trying to do what Chavez is doing, because Chavez is up there. So I feel like they don't really actually make that parallel to like but like I kind of got that feeling because if it goes back and forth, it kind of looks very similar. But of course, Charlie looks like a goofball.
Well, it's just funny too, like in that scene, because they're fucking passing the cup of peyote around, and then fucking they go to hand it to Dick, and he's just sitting there like this, and he's just like,
yeah, he doesn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
He's just staring at them like they're fucking nuts.
I gotta say though, I'm from Kentucky. Okay, I'm from Kentucky, and I was going to say that I think that is probably the tamest example of getting a bunch of wild cowboys, rednecks, tripping, and giving them guns too. On top of that, because I've been around the these days version of that, and no, not pretty.
Bad idea.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. No, fuck no. Like, why didn't they get? You know, like I get it. Like back then, nobody knew about gun safety apparently or some shit. But you know, these days, if your buddy's like packing, you're like, hey, you're doing hallucinogen. Why don't you give me your guns? I'm gonna store them over here, so you don't become like, I don't know, 8 o'clock news exclusive. But if you notice, there's all kinds of great news exclusives on in Kentucky news because of that reason. But whatever.
Well, final thoughts on Young Guns before we move on to Young Guns 2.
I was gonna say we're there's a whole lot of shit.
Oh, keep going. Keep going.
Wait,
it's I'm always worried about Chuck's phone dying, so I always try to keep an eye all the time. That's all.
I'm good for.
I was gonna say I feel like there's a lot we glossed over.
Yeah, we can't go without the ending. We can't forget about that fucking that shootout, that great like American Western shootout. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's as a kid, that was always one of my favorite scenes. It's like, all right, and I still get excited watching that scene, like even knowing like, everything that fucking happens. But like, that's a moment when you have a bunch of guys in a house all knowing one thing they have to do, and that's get the fuck out alive. and unfortunately, we know some of the outcomes. But it's such a fucking like you got Billy the Kid over there just blasting away. He's having a great time because he's a fucking lunatic. We learned that later, like earlier on. He's a fucking lunatic. And the other guys, like, they're kind of like feeding off that a little bit. He's trying to feed him like his energy a little bit. Like Charlie, when he gets he's scared to death and all that. Like, honestly, I wonder, like should have Charlie just stayed? Should he have just stayed behind? Like, your girl's crying. Give me a headache. But like I really hated seeing him die in the movie. But that scene, man, and then Chavez disappears. Like, wait a second. You got the fuck out of there with nobody seeing you, and you come back with horses. It's a little curious, but that is one of those things where, like, fuck yeah, of course he did. It doesn't make a lot of sense a little bit, but whatever. It's so cool. But
that's what I was talking about earlier.
But the scene that Mike was redoing earlier, giving us his dramatic take on, which was great, by the way. I love that. As a kid, and still, I guess, but as a kid especially, when Amelia Estevez, when Billy the fucking Kid gets out of that fucking box, like, you're just like, yeah. There's something about it, man. It's that last, I hate it when they kill what's his ass. He's standing after the guy's what is it? Alex, yeah. Because the guys ride off and he's like, woo, woo, and they just
fucking minigun.
Yeah, I don't think that's called excessive. These days, people would have a problem with that. But I got to say though, the headshot that Jack Palance got, that was a good one. His look on it, like the look on his face, has been something that I always remember. Because he's like now it's, he shoots him,
reap it.
Yeah, and just I don't know, like there's something about it, like it's just such a great scene. And you're like, fuck yeah, that's justice, bro.
Yep, that's justice. That's the villain getting what he has coming to him, and
you can't forget the Tom Cruise fucking cameo of him getting shot by fucking Charlie as soon as Charlie pops out the door.
A lot of people don't realize Tom Cruise is in this film.
Wait, I forgot. Okay. Who is he in it again? Because years ago I heard about this, but
he's just an extra that was on the set. He came to visit. Who was it? I think Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, he came to see Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, so he was on set, and he told those guys, I've never been shot in a film before. Can I be in the film? And they did him up with that makeup, and so he's unrecognizable, and that's how he was in the film. So a lot of people don't realize that Tom Cruise was in this film briefly, right there during the shootout. So that is him under that hair and hat.
And the mustache.
And mustache.
Yeah, he looks nothing like him, but you can tell it's him because of the nose.
Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, with the time jumping around and everything like that, you kind of get more of a sense of that during this scene. It was actually in real life, it was like a 5-day battle. So when you think about it in that regard, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, they're surrounded. How the fuck do they get out of this place? How does Chavez manage to slip away and get horses and everything like that? There's a lot of suspension of disbelief there. And but when you think about it, it's like, okay, over the course of 5 days, people didn't just sit there the whole time. There was a lot of people that came and went, but there was definitely, a lot of people surrounding that house. And it happened pretty accurately where, they just pretty much took over the town of Lincoln, and it was a gun battle for 5 days back and forth. And eventually they escaped. In the film, Charlie and Dirty Steve end up dying. But in real life, they got away. Charlie ended up living pretty much until the end with Billy. The only one that really died in real life, I believe, was the Alex character, the Alex McSween, who was played by Terry O'Quinn, another great actor. Fucking John Locke. John Locke from Lost. I don't know if you ever watched that, but he did a great job in that TV show. But yeah, and in real life, Alex McSween came out, and he was a very nonviolent type of guy. He was the lawyer for Tunstall, and they were kind of business partners. And he had worked for Murphy beforehand, and he was working with Tunstall to kind of be rivals against Murphy in real life. So yeah, he ended up getting killed right there in his yard. It wasn't by a Gatling gun; that was just movie magic. But he got shot down and his hurt. Yeah. He got shot down in real life, and his house burnt to the ground. And his wife did go on to become like one of the biggest cattle ranchers ever. So, a lot of accurate historical points in the films. Trying to think what else. I don't know. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one of my favorite scenes too is like pretty much all the kill scenes are great, but like in the beginning, whenever they actually set the tone of how they're going to fucking take down all these Murphy men, whenever they go to the fucking bar, and they go in there to get Henry Hill, and then he walks inside and sees him getting ready to go take a piss. So then he goes in the bathroom, and then as soon as Henry walks in, starts taking a piss, he walks over. He's like, "Henry Hill?" He's like, "Yeah." He just fucking shoots him. He's like, "You're under arrest." And he's got his fucking hand through his zipper holding the gun.
Yeah.
The scene where where Dick dies. The bounty hunter guy that comes out, and he's like, well, he's just like so nonchalant about it. He's got the guns and shit. He's like, well, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3. All right, let's get this party started or whatever. He just starts like firing at him. It's like,
no, I was gonna say he's like, let's dance, and then they just start shooting. It's like, how do you not like? They're only like 10 feet away from each other. How do you not fucking shoot this guy?
Right. I always wonder
I get the guy's good.
Back up to the thing. Like, why would you walk up to the fucking shit house or whatever? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah. Like,
when Dick just walks up,
yeah, like blasted in the chest to a fucking peephole.
Come from the back or something like that. But me and Chad were talking about the other day, like fucking Dick and Billy did not like each other up until the end. Even in that scene, Dick is daring Billy. He's like, go cut him down, Billy. I dare
him in half. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's always taunting Billy because he wants Billy to go out there and do something stupid and get himself killed because Billy was kind of a threat to his leadership. Dick Brewer was the leader of the regulators for a while in real life. After he was gone, Doc Spurlock, Kiefer's character, was actually the leader in real life for a while before Billy became the leader of the gang. But you only see bits and pieces here. But like I said, he wanted Billy out of the picture. He didn't. He thought he was a wild card, and he was. You can tell in this film where all these kids are young, and they talk a lot of shit. But then when things really start to go down, you can see that they're scared. They're not afraid to die, but they don't want to die. You can tell it's like Billy just doesn't care. He's like, shoot first, ask questions later. And and that was just his mentality where, all right, let's do it. He didn't have any qualms about killing people as opposed to the other guys. Cause whenever he shows up to Tunstall's and they're sitting there eating, they're like, "Oh, Billy, we heard you killed a guy." And he's like, "Yeah," and they're like, "What'd he do?" What did he say? He was
hacking on me.
He was hacking on me. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like,
well, like the scene where Chavez and Steve are talking, and Steve's like, "It's been good riding with you," or whatever he says to him. It's like in that moment, it's kind of like he knows there's a good possibility they're all getting ready to die.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like each other either. Like Steve never liked Chavez at all.
Yeah, he's like many nights I could have slit your throat in your sleep or whatever. He's like, I'm really glad I didn't do that. Yeah, he's like, I'm really glad to do that now. You'd have been all right. He's just like,
yeah,
like, oh shit.
Such a
Dirty Steve was like that. Dirty Steve's like that guy that lives kind of like uber shitty life, and like you knew him in school. Like nobody really likes him. He just kind of is shitty to everybody. But he kind of has a little bit of a kid nature to him. You know what I mean? Like that guy kind of follows everybody. Something interesting about Dirty Steve.
On the trip back, me and Mike also were like trying to figure out what all that Casey Zamosko has been in, and he was in Biff's gang and the Ghostbusters and the Back to the Future movies.
Yeah,
there's a crossover
because he's out of the six of those, he's the only one that really didn't go on to do anything big, really.
Which one's he?
Charlie.
He was Charlie.
Yeah, that's what. I was trying to figure out because he's been in. Oh, what was that movie he was in? He was in the movie with the brass knuckles. School.
3 O'Clock High.
Yeah, like the bully guy that like knocks all the shit down. Like, yeah.
Which one was it?
3 O'Clock High.
Oh wow.
I watched that shit at 19XIX as a kid.
Been a long time since I saw
Yeah, that was a good ass movie.
I need to go back and watch that shit. I'm gonna talk about that one sometime.
Poor Charlie.
Yeah, man, you feel bad for the guy. You feel bad for him the whole fucking movie.
I like when
he tries to be a tough ass, but it doesn't work,
He starts freaking out. They read the newspaper and they're talking about hanging him and everything like that. And he's like freaking out. He's like, I don't want to. He's like, Billy, you ever seen a man get hung? And Billy's like, yeah, actually, I did. I remember Red Smitty. His head came clean off. Doc's just like, Billy, I don't think Charlie wants to hear about Red Smitty.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Like, and Doc, like Kiefer Sutherland, and his because he has an iconic voice. Like, when he yells all that shit, like, he yells so much in this fucking movie, especially like at Charlie or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I can always hear I can always hear his voice yelling at Charlie. Thank you very much, Charlie, or whatever the fuck he says, or whatever, Like, I don't know. Like, you kind of, I don't know. You get more familiar with it.
That's John Kenny.
John Kenny.
Yeah.
He says it like 4 times. It's like, thank you, Charlie.
But and also something else about this movie, and it goes to the old school hip hop, and you know what I'm gonna fucking talk about. Is the fact of, I mean, one of the greatest like hip hop songs in the fucking 90s, man. Like, come on, Warren G. Regulators, mount up. When I first heard that shit as a kid after seeing Young Guns, it became my favorite fucking song. And like, to me, I just thought it was like badass. I had no, I couldn't relate to it. I was a fucking 12-year-old.
It's a good ass song.
Yeah, it is. I listen to it frequently, actually.
We were listening on the way over here.
Yeah, we were.
I would hope so.
And such good ass movies. Like, I can't say enough. And they were so smart to target a younger audience, because westerns at the time were pretty much dead. They didn't have anywhere near the popularity they did back in the the 50s and the 60s. They kind of died out in the 70s and all that. And I mean, just look at that poster. Look at you have the cast, and then you have the title. Cool title, by the way, Young Guns. Yeah. And it was a great way to bring audiences back to the Western and have them make a comeback. And of course, as we mentioned with Tombstone, Unforgiven, Quick and the Dead, etc., they all started to make that little comeback.
It's kind of funny because
because of these films.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because you were talking earlier, Dave. You said like as you got older, you actually like started getting a little bit more. And I definitely agree on that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a dad thing.
I don't know either. I don't know what it is. I couldn't stand them before, but then I gave Tombstone a chance. I gave Unforgiven a chance, Quick and the Dead again, and a few others. And I was like, man, these are really growing on me. And
sometimes they hit just right, dude.
Yeah, but again, the Young Guns movies, though, I did always like, even as a kid. I did always like them, and I do think a lot of that had to do with the cast and the action, and it wasn't super violent, but
it was a good story. I mean, regardless of the historical accuracy.
And I had heard the name Billy the Kid, but I knew nothing about the history or anything like that. And you don't need to, quite frankly, to enjoy these movies. I don't.
Killed his parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fast watch too. Like it doesn't leave you dragging at any time. It just keeps moving on, and you're interested and invested in the whole time.
Yep, great pace.
I think both of them are like that. Honestly, I know we haven't really got a chance to really talk about Young Guns too much. I almost feel like that one needs its own episode. Like, because I don't, like, because that one's good too. But
I'm sorry,
Young Guns was the best. Young Guns 2. It almost needs its own episode, just because, like, you know, I don't know how much.
Yeah, because I was, that's why I always try to keep your battery in mind. That's why I wasn't trying to, because this could easily be a 6-hour episode for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, whenever the time comes and I get a better laptop, we'll be golden. But like because Young Guns 2, I like we said earlier, it gets a lot of shit. But I think it's the story. Oh, there he is. There's the man.
There he is.
There's the kid. Yeah. That's the picture as a kid I remember seeing, and it used to freak me out for some reason. But
and obviously in video it doesn't look hardly anything.
But he worked though. Like I mean, even though he didn't, like it, you know, he looks kind of like Nicolas Cage in this picture. But but you know, young Gun, yeah, right. Young Guns, the first one is you can tell there was more thought put into it. That there was a little the dialogue, the whole plot itself was just awesome. Young Guns 2, it's just as entertaining. It's weak in certain points, but it's still an enjoyable, entertaining film. Completely, and I think it gets a lot of shit for no reason. And it's also got Christian Slater in it, and I like Christian Slater. Fuck off.
Oh yeah, and that's another actor that was red hot at the time.
He was the newbie of their little rat pack.
Dave. You know my name?
Right?
No.
Arkansas Dave Rudaball.
No.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to rewatch the second one. I might have to go back either later tonight or tomorrow and get the second one a rewatch because I had that one on VHS. I never had the first one on VHS. But I found the second one, and I didn't realize they even made a second one. And I was like, oh, shit, Young Guns 2? Gotta get that. Again, I'm a kid, and it turns out that this was actually a sequel I'd never heard of that was actually really decent.
And one thing I forgot to mention is back when the Young Guns came out, this was back in the days when Hollywood took a lot more chances than they do now. Because, nowadays I don't think anybody would take a chance on a Western. But
man, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't think nowadays anybody would take a chance on doing a film like this. But
well, I mean they've had TV shows that
I said again. Shit.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that they had that Hell on Wheels show. That was out a few years ago. That's it's a Western. It's actually a really well done one. It's not a movie. But thinking about movies though was like, we haven't really seen a Western in a long time, have we?
There's been
CISO just came out, right? Is that Western?
Is that Western? Because I have no idea.
It kind of looked like it, but I mean, okay.
No, I'm still waiting on fucking Danzig's Western, the vampire one, because the trailer for that looks pretty fun. It has a very From Dusk Till Dawn feel to it. What?
I wrote a script for a vampire Western a long time ago. And one thing, I used to always need music when I was writing, and I swear to God, I used the Young Guns 2 score to set and do it.
I was hoping you were going to say Danzig, but whatever.
Alan Silverstreet, I believe, did the score for Young Guns 2, and it is, if you haven't heard it, it is an outstanding score for that film. It's an outstanding score altogether. And the second one at the time was still Hollywood coming off the popularity of MTV, hence Bon Jovi. And then Bon Jovi also kind of remade himself. He was John Bon Jovi. when this came out, and he had that hit song "Blaze of Glory," and that, again, it helped sell the movie, and it got that young. Like I said, I was 10 years old, and a bunch of my friends that were the same age went to go see this, and it was a full house, and it was all different ages, and that's the thing. Westerns were usually, how do I say this? Older folks.
Yeah.
We are older folks.
Our parents. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was never like my dad was never really a big Western guy. He liked some stuff, but he's like kind of all over the place. But I've had some grandparents and stuff that were big into Westerns. I had a grandparent that my papa was. He had a bust of John Wayne's head in his office. He was a big John Wayne fan, and I could not get into John Wayne. I just can't. But Clint Eastwood, Ugly Kid Joe, Joe Kid. I always got that shit fucked up. Joe Kid and all that stuff. Like, I always kind of dug, but I'm really picky about the shit. I always have been. But there's something about it. When you get older, you kind of give it a little bit more of a chance. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I was at a friend's house the other day. We were going somewhere. We had to stop at his parents' house, and oh, gross. But and his stepdad was actually watching.
I'm not familiar with that at all.
It doesn't sound entertaining. Sorry, I'm an asshole. But his stepdad was watching Gunsmoke, and we were just sitting there for a minute or whatever. I found myself just completely locked into this fucking show. I've never really ever watched it. I don't know. I guess it's just you get older and you're like, I'm gonna watch some westerns, but I'm still picky about it. Like I'm a John Wayne fan, but
come on, dude. Fucking Arthur Digby Sellers.
What?
Fucking Arthur Digby Sellers, man. Wrote 156 episodes of Gunsmoke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Entering a world of pain.
Which also, as a kid, one of the other, like a TV show that I always loved that was a Western was, of course, Briscoe County Jr. That was something me and my dad always watched together all the time. So do they have a box set of that shit? Because I need to get that.
Probably. It's probably on DVD, though.
A box set?
Probably.
I would hope so.
Not Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman?
Fuck that show. Actually, I always thought she was hot.
I didn't mind the Hateful Eight. It was slow, but I didn't mind it.
We got Hateful Eight and Django, recent.
Oh, that's right. Shit! How the fuck do I forget about those movies? Yeah, Django especially. I still haven't watched Hateful Eight.
But then you got the Magnificent Seven with Denzel and all the other.
Yeah, the remake of that.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, what was that other one? Posse.
Oh, yeah, that one.
I'm gonna lick your posse.
Yeah, I think there were some westerns that came out after that. I think tried to capture the same formula, but it just didn't work for whatever reason.
And then fucking that last one that Eastwood did, Cry Macho.
Never saw that one yet.
What was it called?
Cry Macho.
Macho Man.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems, nowadays the only ones that studios would trust would be among the likes of Quentin Tarantino or Clint Eastwood or someone like that would probably be the only ones they would trust to.
Yeah.
To even attempt it.
Could you imagine a woke Western?
Oh, don't say. Oh, don't put that out.
It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Don't put that out in the universe.
Oh, God, I'm just telling. They have fucked up so much shit. They're just gonna. It's just bound to happen.
And the directors of these, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with.
We're not going to get the Unforgiven. We're going to get the Forgiven.
Christopher
Kane. Kane did the first one, I believe.
Yep. Christopher Kane and
Jeff Murphy. That was his.
Jeff Murphy
did the second one.
there's directors, but I mean, like you were saying, Chuck, the stories were very entertaining, and a lot of that you got to give all the credit to what's his name, John Fusco, who was the writer for both films, and he did a great job of telling those stories and incorporating all the facts and the historical accuracies to them to make it both entertaining and informative. So
yeah. Well, and that's for people that aren't familiar with the second one. Okay. I don't know. I don't even know how to comment on that.
Why should
except for I don't know. I'm giving Jordan Peele a break these days. I've had a change of heart, but I'm still like, whatever. Fucking shit. What was I saying? Help me, guys. Are you really paying attention to me? Nope. Gotcha. Fuck. No, I had a good point I was fucking making. God damn it.
It's gone.
It's the peyote. It's the butterflies.
The peyote got him.
It's the butterflies.
It got us all.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where were we? Directors.
We're not actually on peyote.
Yeah, calm down, internet.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, with the second one, that John Bon Jovi video, I mean, that helped get people into the theater. It was also in the film. I believe he was in the cage, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I remember what I was saying. I got a note.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, go before he loses it.
Sorry. I was just saying, I thought it was really cool in Young Guns 2 how the whole idea was that Billy the Kid didn't die, and he's telling his story. Because there was, in real life, there was a couple people who said they were Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
That they didn't actually die this whole thing. And I thought it was really cool that they went that direction with Young Guns 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of gripped me more as a kid too.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and I still find it very intriguing that there's a possibility that we don't know when real Billy the Kid actually died.
Brushy Bill Roberts.
Yeah, and they say at the end that he was discredited, even though he had evidence and witnesses and this and that, but he was discredited in the end and died 28 days later, I believe.
28 days later. Sounds like a film.
That could have been a movie.
Things that make you go
about an outbreak.
Yeah, it's interesting, because we don't really know. A lot of this stuff is just, like we said, who knows? A lot of it could be embellished. It's the fucking 1880s, the late 1800s, where you don't have like any type of good ways to record. The only people that were there were the people that died. So it's like you're getting bits and pieces of stories, and who knows if these guys are embellishing when they tell a story. I killed 30 men. Like, you can't argue it because you weren't there. So it's like a lot of stuff gets blown out of proportion, and you don't really know what's what. But I mean, the story of Brushy Bill Roberts is probably the only one that holds any type of water. A lot of people don't buy into it. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? You can't.
I think that it would be really cool if they made an extreme film having to do with Billy the Kid's life. That would be cool. Like, give us the extreme side of things. Don't fucking extreme. Water it down.
Well, so me and Mike were talking. Well, me and Mike were talking yesterday too, or Sunday or whatever, about you never really know how many people he actually killed. Because even like in the first one, he's like, "How many is that, Doc? 20?" And he's like, 5. And he's like, "We'll call it 10."
Yeah.
So I mean, he was believing his own hype and just making his own numbers up. So it's hard to say how many people he actually really killed.
Yeah. And the second one, he said 20-some. I think 21. 21. Yeah.
And the lawyer was going to be 22 just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
I'm just a school teacher from New York.
Yeah, I have to go back and rewatch that.
That's a fun one too. You know, like you said, you're introducing Christian Slater and a few others there to that one. Alan Ruck was in there. William Peterson plays Pat Garrett. You know,
That's right. Yeah.
And anybody who's people know him from CSI, a lot of other stuff.
Manhunter.
Yep, you had a lot of people. You had Viggo Mortensen in this. You had
that's right. Yeah,
Bradley Whitford.
Yeah.
What's fucking old dude's name? The dude from Maverick.
Oh, James Coburn.
Yeah.
So another amazing cast. Just I love these movies, and again with the second one, the music so good.
So we may have to make Young Guns 2 its own episode.
Gosh, it might. Wow.
That's what it sounded like.
I mean, it deserves a lot of love too. So,
James Coburn, such a good actor. It's just like him and Jack Palance. You know, they're the elder statesmen in these films. And fucking, I would have loved to see more of Jack Palance in the first one. Like, really make him an evil son of a bitch. We didn't get enough.
Show us why we really hate him, besides the fact that he killed. Because, like, we know he's a piece of shit, but like, give us a little bit more of like what he's doing, how he's doing it. You know, like we give it like that's the beauty of it is like let us know why we hate them. We know why we hate them, but give us more of it.
Right.
And the part where Chavez is talking about what happened to his people, on the reservation, just rips your fucking heart out, especially when he talks about what they did to the babies, how they killed the babies just to save bullets.
They cut my mother from her privates to her throat.
And it's like that part, every time I watch it, God, it just like fucking rips your heart out.
It's true.
Yeah. It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And Lou Diamond Phillips, actually, man, that motherfucker.
Amazing.
He's a good actor. He's always been a good actor. And, I mean, come on, man. Anybody ever
oh, yeah.
And what was that one? Route 666 or whatever it is. Like there's some good shit. He had another thriller too. I can't remember what it was called, but he kind of dropped off the map there for a while. He was on Spin City for a minute, and then his wife left him for Ellen, and then we didn't really see him much.
Huh.
I've
always been a Lou Diamond Phillips fan. Always been a Lou Diamond Phillips fan. I just
very, very intelligent guy. If you go and watch any of his
fucking cool.
Any interviews, if you go on YouTube and watch any interviews with him, he's very well spoken and very intelligent. So
Poker Face.
There was
he's
a
on
show
Poker
where
Face.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to see that.
It's fucking good. It's good.
What was that show?
Shit.
I was glad to see him on there too, as a hitman.
Was it like son of a bitch? What was it? Oh, Longmire. That wasn't the show I was thinking of, but there's a show where he played a prisoner. It was a comedy.
Don't know that one.
Mm-hmm. The First Power. That's what I was thinking of too. He was like a detective on the hills of a fucking satanic killer.
I don't know. He's been he's done mostly TV. Over the last 20 years.
What was another movie he did with Kiefer? Whenever they were cops and we were watching the trailer for it the other day.
Oh, Renegades.
Renegades.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah. Man, I don't watch that fucking movie.
Hey Chad, you remember fucking Lou Diamond Phillips was in 24 with Kiefer too?
Yeah.
Whenever they had that black site, he was like the guy that was working for the whatever.
He also played a CIA guy or whatever in Psych.
No?
Yeah. He really has done a lot more guest appearances and shit and stuff at TV shows and stuff more than that. But I mean, I'm just glad to see he's still doing shit. But he's.
We were talking. They did a con in Jersey last week or the week before, and they had Lou Diamond Phillips there and Kiefer and all them guys were up there.
Oh shit, that'd been cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
You should have gone like that.
Well, that'd be great. Cosplay as Chavez.
Yeah.
I might be thinking of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Was he in Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
The one where he was a prisoner. It was a comedy. I think I might be thinking of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That might be it.
Yeah, he has a lot of bit spots, but like Longmire and Prodigal Son, he's in those a lot. He's more featured in those. But yeah, a lot of TV over the years. Great actor.
And so the rumors are abound that he will be returning for Young Guns 3.
Who, he?
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Oh, yeah. I never heard that this was a thing. Please explain.
For
Since, what, like
years
2016?
now. Yeah, years and years now. Emilio Estevez has been writing the script. It was him, Lou Diamond Phillips. He's bringing back. I fact checked me. There was one more. I think it might have been Kiefer.
He got shot up big time.
Well, they all got. It's a mystery, but Lou Diamond Phillips has compared it to the likes of Top Gun Maverick as far as being one of those movies that enough time has passed for these legacy characters to return, and the explanation as far as he saw the spirit horse, right?
I think if anything, Emilio was saying how you could go into more of the stories that Brushy Bill Roberts told, and those wouldn't involve any of the characters that died off. So you could do a new film with Billy the Kid as Brushy Bill Roberts and his adventures with the armies and everything that he allegedly rode with, stuff like that. So I don't know how good that would be at this point, but I'm curious.
I'd watch it.
But the film was moving. The film was moving along, and then there was some kind of rights issue.
Yeah, a bunch of copyrights issues where they were getting held up.
Yeah, held everything up, and then the pandemic happened, and now, of course, the writers' strike the writers-actor strike happened. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. But a script does exist for this film. And Emilio Estevez also was talking about directing it as well.
Emilio!
So we'll see.
Fucking Mighty Ducks himself.
Men at Work.
Oh, man.
Men at Work is a great movie.
It is.
They shit all over him over that movie, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Men at Work is a good movie. I love that movie. It got all quiet, so maybe I'll die on that mountain alone, but that's fine.
Loaded Weapon 1.
Men at Work is a good movie.
Loaded Weapon 1. We should do that one sometime too. I'm telling you. You mentioned that a couple of times now.
Yeah.
All right, so this is my trip to Fort Sumter, where Billy the Kid is allegedly buried. So this is the grave where he is buried now.
That's roped off pretty good.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, because too many people fuck with him nowadays. So it's like it's hard to read that, but it says Billy the Kid, and then people leave bullets there and all kinds of different little offerings to pay their respects to Billy. He's there, like they said at the end of the first film. The grave says "Pals" on it. A character we never see in the films, Tom O'Folliard, was one of his best friends, and then obviously Charlie is there buried with him. So those three are all buried together there in Fort Sumner. And there's the three graves and the headstone for those.
I guess they could never put him behind bars when he was alive. So
yeah. So and they they got a museum and everything like that, paying tribute to him. That tells the story of him, Charlie, Tom, Joe Grant. That was you were talking about earlier, the scene in the film where the guy is talking about he's going to shoot Billy the Kid, and Billy tricks him by taking his gun. That was a true story, and it tells it right here. Billy feigned false admiration for Grant's gun. Asked to examine it. While doing so, Billy rotated the cylinder to an empty chamber, anticipating trouble. Billy and Grant got into an argument, and Billy turned to walk away. Grant tried to shoot Billy in the back, but all he heard was a click. Billy turned and drew, firing 3 shots, killing Grant instantly. So another true story. That was Joe Texas Red Grant. That happened too. So,
Wow.
This is Fort Sumner Post Cemetery. And
I would like to know. I would like to see a movie, like a really well done movie about Billy the Kid's life, because there's a whole lot there that, like, I don't know, he killed his parents and just had no problem killing anybody. Like, I think that'd be an interesting thing to watch.
So yeah, a very cool place to go and visit. Just a little bit of history for Billy the Kid. I know a lot of people hate on Pat Garrett. There was a lot of hate on Pat Garrett. At first he was kind of admired for actually killing, Billy, because a lot of people saw him as an outlaw back then for a while. He wasn't, renowned the way we see him. Then, there was a lot of debate about what had happened. Some people said that he was hiding in the dark and shot Billy. Billy allegedly, I think according to Garrett, Billy had his gun drawn, and like they showed at the end of Young Guns 2, kind of what happened. That was Garrett's side of the story. Other people were saying how Billy was unarmed and Garrett shot him in the back. So a lot of people believe that story. I think just because they were just big, they liked Billy and they wanted to believe that story more so than anything. So Pat Garrett got a lot of hate. And that's when in the second film, wherever he brings that newspaper guy in to kind of ride with him. In real life, he hired that guy to kind of ghostwrite the book for him, and he wrote this book, and it didn't do well at all. It hardly sold any copies. So Pat Garrett, a lot of people like him, but even more people hated him after the fact. Billy is just a character, in real life that is larger than life, and is going to be one of those old Western stories that just lives on. And like we said, Emilio really brought this character to life and gave you that kind of insight into maybe what he was like. Because a lot of people said he was a prankster, he was a jokester, he just liked to have fun, dance around, shoot guns, just kind of be an outlaw more.
Piss people off.
Yeah, just being a kid and doing his thing. And whether he really got shot and killed by Pat Garrett or if he lived on as Brushy Bill Roberts, we'll never really know. They've tried to exhume bodies and try to do a DNA. There's all kinds of things, they've tried to do, and they get stopped along the way. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some kind of answers down the road, but it's one of those mysteries. Oh, yeah. Liska House.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah, we like doing stuff like this.
We got a lot of views on that one.
Yeah,
we got Halloween around the corner too, so we might have surprises.
Okay. I'm excited for that shit.
We always try to do something flavorful for our Halloween episode. So
we have a lot of surprises this year.
Do we? No one tells me shit.
Do.
Anyway. Chuck can't keep his mouth shut. Don't tell him shit. He finds out everything on the show anyway.
That's fun.
But
it's more fun that
the
way.
Pat Garrett character in the movie, though, like I said, I really liked. I just like I said, that's maybe the wrestling fan in me. I like the heel turn when he shows up. He changes his look. He's all in black. I think the first shot of him when he changes his look is when he shows up to talk to the newspaper guy, and you just see this dark, like the long black coat, the black hair. Then you see he's shaved, and he lights the matches on his sheriff's badge, and I don't know. I just thought it was really cool.
And you can tell he's kind of conflicted, because he was friends with all these guys.
Yeah.
He rode with those guys. And, I think Viggo Mortensen's character ended up shooting Doc. I think Garrett was the one only shot that one
the kid.
young guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
he
younger
just shot
kid,
the kid.
not Billy the kid, but the younger kid that was like 14 years old. That wanted to ride with Billy the kid and them.
Yeah.
And that was by
forgot about
accident. And you can tell he felt bad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was trying to shoot Billy, but then like you couldn't really tell who was who because the sun glare.
Yeah, because he even says that I got him, and then they go check, and it's that 14-year-old kid, and it's just like, ugh. And the Viggo Morrison character even accuses him of maybe you're trying to let him get away.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what he did at the end, faked Billy's death so he could go on and live his life. It's just like go down to Old Mexico or go somewhere else. Just go away so I can get the credit for killing you and get the money.
Right.
And I can get my book. I can open Garrett's place, and everybody's happy.
You killed the boys, Patsy.
Yeah.
Many
Didn't
mysteries of history.
Didn't I text that to you earlier?
Yeah, and it was fucked up because then Mike said it to me as soon as we got in the fucking car.
No, Billy, you did, and it's true. That's the hard part is that it's a hard pill to swallow for Billy because he is the reason that all of them got killed. It was just he in the first one he wanted that revenge for Tunstall, and he just couldn't give it up.
Yeah,
he got him. And that lifestyle.
And then especially when Chavez dies, he's like, what have I done? I did all this. And he kind of loses it there for a second when they're doing when they're outside the piñata or whatever.
Yeah.
They're outside doing the ceremony, and he's kind of losing it.
It ain't easy having pals.
Nope.
But
my pals.
If he did go on, he had that kind of epiphany. Maybe maybe he finally started to grow up. I can't go on living like this. All my friends are dead. So what the fuck? I gotta.
All my friends are dead. Sorry.
There you go.
All my friends are dead.
So we're your family now. You got 4 or 5 guys together. And the pals. That's your tribe.
And the regulators were a bigger group. In the film, it's only those 6. In real life, I think it got up to like 60 some riders at one point. They said it was mostly like a group of like 18 to 20 guys, and then during that big war, the Lincoln County War with Murphy and those, it ended up getting to like 60 some at some point. So it was a big group of guys. And Murphy, like the end of the first one, he shoots Murphy. That didn't happen in real life. Murphy was kind of out of the picture at that point. Fucking Murphy ended up dying from cancer shortly after that 5-day battle. So that didn't happen. I think more involved with trying to bring in Billy the Kid and the regulators was John Toland, I think, his business partner. Or Murphy's business partner, which you don't really get to see a lot in these films. I don't know why they didn't really touch on his that human being more so in the story, but of what actually transpired in real life. So, whatever. These films are great. Like you said, John Fusco did a great job telling the story. Great ensemble cast. The soundtrack, it came together to really make these films stand out, and they hold up until this day.
I agree.
We lost Chuck.
Oh, we lost Chuck. We lost the nasty.
The nasty. I mean, I definitely, if they make another one, I'll definitely invest money into going to see it.
For sure.
Because I figure it'll just be just as action-packed as all the other ones. Even if they do go like what's his name? Fucking the Bill route.
Brushy Bill.
Brushy Bill. I always want to call him Bushy Bill, but that don't fly right.
You good, Nasty?
Yeah, I had to piss. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It was starting to burn.
Did you have to have a movement? You have to have a movement.
I just had to piss.
What is he saying? He's got to take a shit.
You got to take a shit.
I'll make
Bargain.
you famous. That's another one. So many great lines in these films.
Mhm.
I'll make you famous.
Oh, yeah.
And then later on, the Undertaker started using that line. Whenever he was the American Badass, I'll make you famous.
I always like was it Young Guns 2 when he's the kid's in court. He's like, you can kiss my ass. Ass.
No,
He said you can go to
It's
hell,
good one.
hell.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You're mixing up the two. Okay, so there's two great lines. That one, the court scene where he goes, you can go to hell, hell, hell. And then the first one where he's sitting there in the bathtub with Don.
Yeah.
And they're writing that letter to President Hayes. And he writes
Yes.
all this. Yeah. And then he's at the postscript. He's like, I changed my mind. You can kiss my ass. So good.
And it's that fucking laugh too. That seems even better. About
Yeah, he just does that.
It's fucking like high pitched, goofy laugh.
Yeah, he just like.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do it, but you know what I mean. Oh man, it's just
It has
so
like a
well
real
done.
cocky tone to it. Where he's just like, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I might go back and watch these movies again after we're done tonight.
Reap it, Murphy. You son of a bitch.
Yeah. But that's justice. That's justice. That shot to the head. That's justice right there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we can't forget the opening of Young Guns.
Oh, so
Like,
cool.
just that. I mean, come on, man.
Silhouettes
There's a reason why
the ridge.
I was like, yeah. I was, and the way it's, I mean, just the grainy shot of it and all that, it just looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shit.
Such a good fucking movie.
good shit. Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both of them.
But yeah, any final thoughts on the Young Guns franchise?
Watch it.
Sure.
We'll definitely have to come back and do an in-depth Young Guns too.
We might revisit
we have
this.
to.
I'd be down to revisit these.
I totally would.
Yeah, so we can talk about Jane's ass. Boom!
Right.
She had a nice ass. Who was that? Jenny Wright. Hey, I got to give credit. I went back whenever I was watching Young Guns 2, and like she comes out after Pat Garrett sets the whorehouse on fire, and she comes out butt naked, except for like her stockings and her shoes, and she gets on that horse and she like kind of sits sideways and kind of slowly trots off. I'm like, I can't imagine somebody climbing up on a horse, like a woman climbing up on a horse butt ass naked and like, like, nope, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of funny that there was a little bit of nudity in 2. There was really no nudity except for Emilio Estevez's ass and balls in the first one. The first one's rated R and the second one's PG-13.
No. A little bit of ass, never hurt no one.
But whatever. I mean, I'm not really into man ass, but whatever.
Well, I meant her ass, his ass.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Equal opportunity ass.
I mean, you know, it's for everybody.
That's it. Next week, ask for everybody. Join the Video Store Clerks.
That's all I was saying. Ah!
Ask for everyone.
Ass and titties. Ass and titties.
Cut. What you doing?
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
We're at
Any
an
more
hour
final
45.
thoughts?
Woo!
If you haven't seen these movies, definitely watch.
For sure. Even if you're not a Western fan,
Think it's like
check them out.
Classics.
Definitely.
Absolute classics. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Fun movie.
it is time to fire up the random clip generator because it is now time for our random clip of the week, in which we pick a random clip from a random movie and we see what happens.
Every week.
Let's see what happens.
every.
My God, we'd never see the attack coming. It's frightening, sir.
Don't panic. We'll just move slowly toward the exit. What's happening? I knew it. You'll never take me alive. She's scrambling my brain.
I'll get her.
What do I watch?
Good work, sir.
That was a surprise.
Leslie Nielsen, man.
This is how we say hello.
I did not expect that. Okay. All right. What are we doing next week?
Big Trouble.
Oh
okay.
my gosh, it is Big Trouble in Little China is next week. We've been talking about doing this episode, I think, since the show started.
Yeah.
And next week is the week. We will be doing Big Trouble in Little China. Oh my God, I'm excited.
Me too. I can read from the back of the box because I have it on VHS.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a good one.
So hop on the Pork Chop Express and get to the video store next week.
Bam. And before we leave, I believe our man Chuck Nasty has some news to share with the internet.
Yeah. Nice. So as the guys are holding up right there, we have Thirsty and Sludge. Thirsty is my the first of a trilogy that I'm working on about you push the wrong button. Actually, if you push any button on a soda machine, you will die in a nice gory way. And there's a whole lot more to it than just that. It's an extreme read, so if you're easily triggered, good luck. Sludge is an anthology that myself and Stuart Bray and Jason Nicky did. And it's a fun read. When I got my copy in, I hadn't even read all their stories yet. But Stuart has one story, Jason Nicky has two, and I have two in it. And the two stories that are in it, Toxic Mouth and Dickworm, are two of my. I'm very proud of those stories. They're fun stories. They're fun to write, and you should definitely check those out. And September 1st, and if you're a Kindle user, ebook person, you can pre-order House of Flesh, my novel. It's coming out September 1st. You can go ahead and pre-order it on Kindle and all that. But yeah, it'll be out September 1st. So check all that shit out. And then also away from the book stuff, Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat. We put in the finishing touches on our new album, and it'll be out real soon, and we're really proud of it. And we will we're going to be doing a video for we haven't decided what song yet. It's going to be our single, but we're going to do a video for whichever one, and hopefully we can play it on here. And there's that. And Graveyard Talk, Nasty Nation, Facebook, Bandcamp for Bastard Sons, all that fun stuff. Just look it up, hit the names and all that, you'll find it. And yeah, more to come, because I never slow the fuck down. You see these bags under my eyes? God damn it. It's all about the grind, baby. It's all about the grind.
All about
keep working, and your mind stays fine. You know what I'm saying? Give it that grind. I'm just a fucking poet tonight. What the fuck? Anyway, go on.
And you don't know it. Kind of like Doc. Like a poet like Doc.
And don't forget, the links are all in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Subscribe for more.
Hit the like button.
Hit that like button.
Leave
some
comments.
Hit the forking button.
Let us know what you want us to watch.
Tell us, because we'll watch anything. We're trapped inside of a video store. What else we have to do? Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us on the Video Store Clerks Podcast. And we shall see you next week.
Regular